Okay, Mike. James Parker, how's it going, mate? Thanks for sending me your next swing in. I appreciate it. Right, so getting right into it. You know, the way that the club is coming into the ball, right? And so, the club. We'll go through your swing in a second, but I'm looking at what the club's doing through impact to cause the particular ball flight, right? So as you come down, still kind of attacking it somewhat from the inside. But the big thing that really strikes me is just how much face rotation is going on through impact and post-impact. Okay, so how much that club face is rolling over, how much that club face is rotating and turning, whatever you want to call it, is just way too much, right? So the one thing I would want to work on, the few things I would want to work on, which would relate to your face to path relationship. Okay, so and both of these couple of things are really going to help you with the structure of your golf swing, and hit better shots, and also kind of eliminate this big curve that you're going to see in a lot of your golf shots. Okay, so the first one is just to keep your hands. Or before I talk about that, just a few little points with regards to your setup. You look like you're standing a bit too far away from it, right? So I definitely think you could stand a little bit closer to it. I think you could get the shaft maybe coming up a little bit higher because you stand a little bit closer to it, and then that would help you with your posture as well. Okay, so experiment with that. I think that's really going to help you. But just like the videos that I sent you before, there's a lot of the big thing that strikes me when you're going back. And if we look at it from this position, yes, you bring your left foot up, but I would want to, if I could get my hands on you, if I could give you a golf lesson in person, the one thing that I would be focused a lot on, right, would be right there, right. You see how your right hand is coming away from your left thumb again, right? So if you look at that right hand, right, your right hand against your left thumb is a pressure point, right? That does not come away. That maintains pressure throughout the swing from start to finish, from start all the way through the swing, hitting the shot and finishing, right? That right hand does not come away from that left thumb. And you can see right there, look, I can see all of your left thumb. I can see some daylight between your hands now. That should not be happening. And that obviously then affects the whole structure of what it looks from the down the line view, right? You can see the club, the club's almost hitting your right arm there, right? You can see this club, it's almost hitting your right arm, right? So there's loads of lag, right? There's loads of lag, too much lag, because you haven't got your hands on the club properly, right? So if you haven't got the hands on the club properly, you're never going to be able to control the club face coming through impact, right? So that's the first thing I would work hard on, Mike, is keeping that right hand, the palm of your right hand against your left thumb. That's really, really important. Okay. As far as a model, let me pull someone up. Bryson DeChambeau. Right, this guy. If we zoom in on his hand, right, you can see how his hand is against his left thumb, right. Someone else. Let's get someone else up. but just bear with me a second. Sean O'Hare. Right, but look at the structure, right? Look at the structure of his arms and hands, right? Kind of a blurry video, difficult to tell. But this right hand here is pushing against his left thumb, right? Pushing against his left thumb. So that's an important one, right? And then you can see how it then affects the structure, right? We want to, if your right hand is always pushing against your left thumb, it's kind of like your hands are pushing away from your chest, right? I want to see you in a position up here where your hands are pushing away from your chest, right? Because that right arm comes off, because that right hand comes away from your left hand, then as we get up to the top, you can see how it then affects the right arm position, right? So if we look at the down the line view, a good example, someone like maybe Hunter Mahan, right? So you can see how his hands are up there, his arm matches his shoulders, but look at his right arm, right? So you've got your elbow. So I would get your elbow down more. I would try and work on getting this elbow down here more. Right. And push your hands away from your chest, but keep that right hand against your left thumb. Now, even if that means literally just hitting shots, swinging to there, right? You can see you keep your hand on there, right? By that point, you've kept your hand on in a decent enough fashion, right? And I would just hit shots from there to start with, okay? And then the other thing is, once you've kept your hands on better, we then have to control how our arms are moving around our body, right? So the other thing that I'm noticing through Impact here, besides from having this right foot still on the ground, right? You look through Impact, this right foot's still on the ground. I want you on your left foot at that point, right? You got to get used to hitting shots whilst also balancing on your lead foot, right? You're just still too much on that right foot. But you can see through Impact here with your hands and the arms how that right hand kind of flips over your left one, and you've got all that club face rotation. Well, from here, what I'm looking at is just where your right arm is, right? If you look at on the left hand side of the screen, your right arm's now in that position, which is too out, right? At this point, we need your right arm moving back behind your body. We need your hands kind of turning the corner and going behind your body. Your hands are just moving through Impact. Your hands are moving this way. Your hands are moving outward, out there. And then they start turning the corner. So what you see is the club kind of come up through your neck. Your hands come out through your neck. Whereas with a pro, we're looking at the club coming out underneath their left shoulder. So besides from keeping your hands connected, we also need to keep your arms connected, right? We also need to keep your arms connected. So a good drill, good example for that one would be Charlie Wee, right? So number one, look at his takeaway, how, he's got, if you got an old glove or a T-peg or something, just get a T-peg under your armpit, pinch it under your armpit, get another one under your right armpit, right? And then you want to keep your arms pinched against your torso going back, and then as you come through, keep your arms pinched against your torso. So as he hits it, right? Not only is he on his left side and he's turned his hips and his shoulders out the way a little bit, right? Which you're nowhere near, right? So your hips and your shoulders are just back to square, right? We want to be on that lead foot, but also have turned your hips out the way. So you can practice that just in a static position. But also, if he had a little T-peg or an old glove just pinching underneath his right armpit here, right, then you can see how his arms are exiting left. So his arms and his hands are moving round the corner here, right, post impact, and then you see the club and his hands come out underneath his right shoulder. There's his right shoulder, left shoulder, right, whereas yours comes out above it, right. So I would work on two things. I would work on keeping your hands connected to the club and keeping your right hand in particular connected to that left thumb. And I would also work on hitting shots, keeping your arms connected to your torso. Right, so you can see in that position how this right arm's out here. Well, that won't be the case if you've got something under your armpit that you're keeping connected against your torso, right? Just to maintain that connection point. Then your hands are going to start turning the corner around here, and your arm will stay closer to your body, right? So another way of thinking about it would be, right, well, there's a stick along my toe line, right? We use a red stick there. I would put another stick on the ground there, right? And then when you hit it, and I'd have that on the ground, and then when you hit it, you just want to make sure that your hands are moving along that stick on the ground, moving inwards. So if you did that here, right, there's a stick along your toes. Do that in red. And then we did another stick, just lay another stick on the ground there, right? Well, when you come through, you can see your hands are actually going out this way, not along that stick on the ground. So I would just want you to get your hands to follow that stick on the ground, so you're moving left more. And the way that you're going to do that is by hitting balls, keeping that right arm connected to your torso, and also to keep your arms connected, and also keep those hands connected as well. Okay, Mike. If you have any questions, mate, I don't want to go too deep into it. I could talk about it for hours and hours. But those two things are really going to help you. Keeping your hands connected to keep better arm structure at the top, and also keeping your arms connected, so that that's going to help you turn as well, right? Because your arms and your body are going to be connected, and you're going to have your hands exiting more left. Okay, mate. Any questions? Just shoot me over an email. Cheers.